Channel NITT viewers, I am DS, your psychologist, and welcome to another episode on Channel NITT. In this episode, I have a question of personal interest. Do fellow ENTJs have the habit of writing diaries? So I can safely say that at my age, I will never imagine myself under normal circumstances that I will write a diary at all. However, in my younger days, I have written a diary twice. The first time was when I was enlisted into the military service of Singapore. So because the military service was something very different and somewhat daunting for me, I thought that it would be good to document my daily experiences. So initially it went well because the first few days everything is very different. I have to do different things, learn different skills. So there were a lot of things that I could write. However, as the days went by, things start to repeat. So as routine comes into play, after like 10 days, my SI blindness becomes very triggered. I am getting bored. I yearn very deeply for freedom. So from about 10 days onwards, when I started writing the diary starts to document a lot of emotions instead. It's like, okay, instead of talking about what I learned today, like first aid or how to use a rifle, every day onwards it's about how I yearn to go home, how I yearn for workout day. So on a Monday itself, I would already start to write how I wish Saturday will come very quickly, how boring this is, how I do not like this and how I do not like that. So what I document into the diary has become so repetitive that when I look back at it, I actually cringe, because by the 10 days onwards, wow, it has become too emotional. So when you start to logically read the diary entry, you realize that wow, this has been too emotional, too much feeling, too much yearning, and I totally cannot read what I write. So when I reread what I wrote for the first time, I was like, wow, this is repulsive. So I feel myself being too needy, being very whiny, so which I don't like. So I decided to stop writing altogether. So the second and last time where I actually did write a diary, or I would say a journal, was when I was older, around 20 something, and I was out of love. So I remember I had a hard time with a particular relationship. The other person was not reciprocating. So being very upset, I started to write into a journal on an everyday basis what I was feeling, and it was more like a way for me to release my pent up emotions. So usually I do not read my diary at all. I think it was just an avenue for me to release my emotions, write down what I feel for that moment, so that at least it helps me to feel eased. When I did look back at the journal article, I felt that this time round it is very philosophical. The things that I wrote are more like, okay, if we were destined to be, then it must happen. You know, sometimes God wants to give us tests, this kind of a thing. When I look at it and read it, cringe-worthy again. So normally an ENTJ won't want to write such things, but maybe during that point in time I was really too stressed, too upset. I had to find a way to help myself. Now given my age today, I am more stable and mature. I believe that I no longer need to write diaries to console myself or to document procedures, because first of all, a ENTJ probably wouldn't like things like documenting. Well, I only have 2 experiences writing a diary. When I look back at the diaries, I think that they are too FI inclined. So given that FI is an inferior function of the ENTJ, I think it is very likely that most ENTJs would not want to write a diary. Even if we do write a diary after all, it is probably a very technical type of a writing, not likely to be emotionally laden. And tell you what, I have already discarded all the diary entries because I just cannot keep all these unworthy memories. So fellow ENTJs, do you have similar experiences? Do comment below and share with me. Okay, at Channel NITT, we produce a lot of ENTJs videos such as this one. If you have not subscribed, do consider subscribing so that we can bring you more ENTJ, especially if you are an ENTJ. Okay, I am going to sign off now and I'll see you in our next episode. Bye bye.